Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday or Thursday, July 29th. It's almost 12 o'clock. No. Is it 12 or 11? Oh, it's almost 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. I have to look at the two because either that one's slow or that one's fast, but it's about 11 o'clock in the morning. I've been awake in and out of awareness, or however you want to put it, since 9. I was woken up because Jerry had a need and could not do it herself. So I was like, okay. I was already half awake anyhow because my body started to go, hey, you're back. It wants you to stop laying on your side or just stop laying down because it was hurting. And I went, oh, okay. I guess it's time to get up. Sorry, I'm fiddle farting with my hair because I'm feeling like loose. What seems like loose strands, but I can't tell. I'm having to do my own hair by myself, which I'm not upset about it. And just sometimes I kind of go, I can't get it all in the freaking bunch to put it in a ponytail. Anyhow, today's going to be another good day. I started a little later doing this than I wanted to because I came in here at 10 o'clock, a little bit before 10, thinking, okay, I can start doing this stuff so I can be done sooner, so I can start doing house stuff. And I sat down, and all of a sudden, our lawn care guy that we hired comes once every other week or so to mow our lawn. Started mowing, and because this big these windows are right there on the front lawn, basically, it's kind of noisy in here. So I did a few other little things, like look at YouTube to see what kind of comments have been made since last night or while I was sleeping type situation, as well as look at my American Cozy book. And I want to answer Nellie. Nellie had two questions in one of her comments, or two things in one of her comments, and I just kind of went, okay, I'm going to answer those. So here we go, and we're going to try to do this to the best of my ability, because I think today is going to be a day that I'm going to have to drink a bunch of electrolyte energy waters just to defog my brain and get myself going so I can do cleaning and whatnot, housework basically. I'm going to pre-apologize to everybody because I noticed yesterday my voice kind of goes up and down in volume. So I don't know if you hear everything I say. I know there's been a couple people who've commented on Jerry's channel saying that the volume seems to come and go. And I don't know if that's because of her equipment or sounds like a mail truck or something pulling up in front of my house. Anyhow, so I don't know if it's her equipment or whatnot. So I apologize for everything because I know depending on what device that or how some people hear or watch us, whether it's on their own personal device like a phone or tablet or computer, or if they're listening to YouTube on their smart TVs like we do. We sometimes do that, or Jerry does that. I'm fine watching YouTube on my phone or my computer. But anyhow, Nellie, her first question was, how did I lower my cholesterol? Was it diet or meds? Well, I first started lowering my cholesterol with the doctor back in Arizona. Jesus, back in New York. The doctors back in New York prescribed Lipitor as a basically helping to lower my genetic cholesterol, because sometimes if you have family history of high cholesterol and whatnot, it's genetic, which basically most of my cholesterol level is genetic. So we try to keep it as low as possible and keep it under control with medication like Lipitor, which is prescribed medication. Now, for the unprescribed stuff that I take to help with my cholesterol, that's everything from fish oil to niacin to Shinikia to cinnamon, I think those are the main ones that deal with cholesterol, especially. I do take a variety of over the counter, or not over the counter, over the counter, non-prescribed pills and whatnot. Let me just run down my list of things that I take on a daily basis. Now, I'm not going to tell you which time of the day I take them, but if you're going to take anything to help you control your cholesterol, like cinnamon, niacin, fish oil, or any of those kind of like counter medications that you can pick up at your local pharmacy or Walmart, usually they tell you to take your cholesterol type medications in the morning time. Well, I found that if I take a fish oil in the morning and a fish oil at night, it works throughout the whole day. And the thing about the human body is usually when the human body goes to sleep and it starts breaking down the foods or whatnot that you ate throughout the day, that's when your cholesterol gets spiked, because all the mechanisms in your body that create cholesterol, whether it's from your food or whatever, happens at night. But I take a lot of, I take my niacin and echinacea and one cinnamon, basically one pill of each in the morning time, because that's when your body is also most active, and the activity also breaks down the food and turns whatever foods to cholesterol. But I have, see if I can remember all my medications. I have a medication for my cholesterol. I have a medication for my blood pressure, I think. Vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin E, a multivitamin tab, echinacea, niacin, cinnamon, fish oil, St. John's wort, and allergy medication. So I take like 13 different pills throughout the day. The bulk of them are in the morning time, but at nighttime I know I take fish oil, my allergy medication, and Advil. I think I gave you more. I don't think I take all those pills, did I? I don't know. I'm trying to remember all the medication I took. It's kind of hard to do. So it's a combination of medication and diet. Ever since I went on to or trying to do the Nordic Way diet, the healthier foods, Nordic Way, keto, diabetic diet type foods, I've noticed that I have more energy. I don't feel as dragged out or bogged down by I don't get dragged down because I'm not eating as much carbs. I'm eating, there are some foods in the Nordic Way book that are high in carbs, low in protein, or sometimes some of them are high in protein and low in carbs. It depends on what the food is, because not all of it has bread, but certain foods have natural carbs. So you have to watch. You have to look at the if you get the Nordic Way book, the Nordic Way book, which is a dietary cookbook, lifestyle type book. I read it once before. On the bottom of each of the recipes, it will tell you carbs to protein. So if you're trying to stay on a low carb diet, you got to watch that kind of stuff. But as we've recently found out from our doctor, is if you're on a keto diet, which is very, 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 very low to no carbs, you have to watch your balanced intake on proteins, because if you eat too much protein, it could cause a buildup of lactic acids or some sort of acids in your system that could cause probably a lot of the pains that Jerry is going through right now. So you have to watch that. Surprisingly enough, when I started the Nordic Way diet, at first I was like, oh, a lot of vegetables. Mom, we might have problems, not just Mom, but everybody. Because there was a lot of foods in there that were like, never eaten that, never eaten that, never eaten that. Well, we'll try it. because and that in fact it's whole natural foods, which means it's a little bit more expensive on the budget, but it's well worth it for I'm concerned, because in the long run you're not spending as much money on medical issues, or at least I thought that until I don't know what that is. So that could be anything from her keto diet to just her. She's got. Anyhow, I'm not gonna focus on that. But yeah, Nelly, it was a combination of diet and medication. Not all my medication is a doctor prescribed medicine, but it's natural herbal supplements that you can take via tablet or capsule form, and it works with your body naturally, so there should not be any harmful side effects. And the other thing that she said, which I'm taking into consideration because I'm thinking, I'll tell you in a second after I read this. But anyhow, she said that she would like to hear more on Viking history over end time information, because there's enough stress and negativity and whatnot that we don't need any more scares or bad vibes, which I agree. I mean, when I first started thinking about doing a comparison between Revelations and Ragnarok, which deals with the end times, I kind of started getting that vibe of, oh, this could cause you a lot of problems, Jim. I mean, it's going to cause you to have psychological issues, which is going to cause you to have issues with dealing with people, especially people in your immediate vicinity. So I was kind of like, maybe I won't do end times comparisons just because of that factor alone. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story that maybe you'll understand what I mean by maybe I shouldn't do it. Shortly around the time I met Jerry and got married and all that, Mom was reading a book, a series book, and I can't remember the name of it. Left Behind. The Left Behind series that went through like 6 or 7 different books on the two authors' take on the end time Revelation type, Armageddon type era or events and whatnot. And I curiosity got the better of me because I saw the Left Behind movie, not the Kirk Cameron one, but the one before that, the original Left Behind movie. And granted, I watched it and I was like, ooh, I know all these people. These people are famous. They had people from they had the artists, the musicians and whatnot from DC Talk. I thought I saw 1 or 2 from Cast and Crown. Stephen Curtis Chapman, I think, made a cameo, a quick appearance. There was a lot of different famous Christian musicians in the movie, and it spiked my curiosity. And I watched it and went, this is a head scratcher. And then Mom was like, well, if you like the movie, maybe you should read the books. And I started reading the books and went, I started getting into this doomsday frame of mind. Oh, we got to prep for this, and we got to do this, and we got to be ready for that, and blah, blah, blah. And it just was not a good, it wasn't a good thing, put it that way. And yeah, I sound like one of these, conspiracy theorists of, the government's going to cause our downfall and doomsday and Armageddon, blah, 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 blah. And I just kind of went, nope, wait a minute. This is not good. It's not healthy. I'm taking it the wrong way because I have that how did Jerry put it? I have a addictive personality when I basically because I was like, what do you mean by that? Because I don't understand. And she was like, well, because when you get a hold of something that really catches your attention and whatnot, you get to this like be all end all type of frame of mind where it's the only thing that can be done or the only thing that is important And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because if I get a good book that I really, really like, one, I will read it and absorb every piece of knowledge I can from it, and then start acting upon it without thought. Just like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, blah, blah, blah. So it took her a couple years to get me to the point where just because you read it does not mean it has to happen or will happen. It's great that I'm getting information and knowledge and learning stuff, but I have to learn how to understand and maintain the factor that not everybody can do what the book will suggest, or not everything the book says it could happen will happen. It's one of the reasons why I stopped reading books like the Left Behind series, because they are so realistic, and I could see some of the things that was in the books happening and go duck. So yeah, in order for me to keep as positive as I can be, maybe reading about the end times right now is not a good idea, especially with all the things that's been happening in the last, well, here at the house for the last couple of days, worldwide, last 2 years. Because I can literally point out some of the things that look like, oh, yeah, those are warning signs. Let's see here. We have COVID-19. I don't know how much of the world's population is wiped out, but according to Revelations, X amount of people worldwide will die. I hate to say that word, because of death, famine, war, and I don't even remember the names of the 4 horsemen except for death. Well, death, war, pestilence, and famine. Okay, that's all 4 of them. So it's kind of like one of those. Then we get the underwater fire. I'm sorry. Fire, underwater. Water, fire. Don't mix. Fire evaporates water. Water smothers fire. And that happened close to our Gulf coastline, and I'm just kind of like, did somebody open up one of the gates of hell? Because that's not right. That's not natural. And just think of all the other different things that happened worldwide in the last 2 years, between increased velocity or veracity of hurricanes, the increased number of hurricanes and tornadoes. I haven't heard about any deadly avalanches. Right now, there's severe flooding in Germany, which literally wiped out a small town. And I just kind of went, Germany. We can do it, the powers. I don't like the idea of any town, village, whatnot, flooding, let alone the loss of lives due to flooding. But I can think of other places that I wouldn't be too upset about if it did flood. Not saying I'd be upset at any flood, but all those beautiful old world houses demolished by a flood. And honestly, if I had the money, and the capacity to fly to Germany and help out the area affected by this flood, I would, but I don't. So I sit here and hear these different news reports, and I go, Yeah, I don't think I need to be doing any book readings or comparisons or whatnot about the end times, because turn on the news and you get enough negativity and all that fun stuff. And I just noticed a second ago I had a flash message from YouTube creator channel. At least one person has just agreed with Nelly on the don't want to hear about the end times chatter. So I think after we get done with American Cozy, I'll start reading Viking stuff. And I've got enough Viking books here. I mean, right here in front of me, without going up there on my shelves, I have Norse mythology, Vikings and the Battle of the End Times. That book I might skip, I don't know. I have the Havanal, I have more Viking myths. I have the Poros Eddas, which is like poetic history of the Vikings. Then I have this little book, which I've been reading off and on. The Viking Handbuch. I love how they put it. They don't use A's, they use O's for hand, and B with the umlaut, which is this little, let's see, yeah, there we go. This little O with this little mark above it, it's called an umlaut. So it's pronounced Handbuch. So I'll probably be reading from those books. But anyhow, let me do a quick read out of the American Cozy. I was reading last night. We're getting into a section that talks about having cozy family celebrations. In fact, it's entitled Cozy Celebrations, Holidays, and Special Occasions. In her opening, she talks about the various different holidays that we celebrate, that we have family gatherings, like, let's see, some of these traditions are religious or cultural traditions. At New Year's, we toast with champagne. At Thanksgiving, we eat turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce. Other rituals may be special family traditions, such as receiving a silver dollar in change of a lost baby tooth, or visiting the cemetery on Memorial Day to remember the veterans in our town who have passed. In today's uncomfortable frenzy and ever-changing world, these commemorations are more important than ever before. Let's see here. Festive traditions ground us and help us organize our lives amid constant change. Enjoying long-held holiday traditions provide a feeling of safety as well as important continuations with our not continuations. I'm sorry. Continuity. Hold on. Important. Oh no, sorry. Important continuation or connections. Yeah, I'm just gonna say connections because I'm having trouble with that word. Important connections with our past, reminding us that life is bigger than we are. Celebratory traditions also bind us to one another in the most pleasant way possible. Yeah, it does. I remember a lot of the traditions when I was growing up before we moved out of Arizona. Is every major holiday, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, we would go to my Aunt Lee's house to have a big celebration. And most of those, well, no, every single one of those holidays, because my aunt and my father were still connected to the military one way or another. My aunt still worked for a while after my dad retired with DMV, basically the the department where she was a cleric, and they dealt with the various different transports and other forms of vehicular usage on base of military equipment or vehicles. So every year during those major holidays, Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, my aunt or my father, if he still had people in the area, would invite them to come to her house for a meal, for food, to have some fun, some camaraderie, enjoy some food. One of the big things I do remember about the military, and I love it. I love the military for it. Is if you're in the military, whether you're the spouse or child of a military officer, and your parent or partner was not in the States because they had to go to a place somewhere in the world that wasn't too hot for the whole family to go, only the actual active duty officer or person could go to. A lot of these families would get together during the holidays just because of the fact that they're in the same boat. It's Christmas time. You can't be with your loved ones because they're out of country. A lot of military families would get together and invite each other over or make plans to come to one person's house and just have a celebration. My aunt, my father tried to continue that tradition once they retired, because even though they were retired, they were still connected to people who were in Arizona, stuck at Luke Air Force Base, because that was their permanent duty station. So yeah, I did not have. Just about every place that we lived in the United States, we had family close by, or it took us a day or two to get to a family member's house to have a holiday celebration. Whether it was my aunt in Arizona or my grandparents when they were alive here in Missouri while we were in Arkansas. In fact, I remember every major holiday, Thanksgiving and Christmas especially. I don't know about Easter. I can't remember Easter. But maybe not Thanksgiving. Maybe it was Easter and Christmas, because they were the major religious holidays. My father would plan and get permission to have a 4-day weekend or a week off to go visit family during the holidays. Usually it was like a weekend for Easter and maybe 4 to 5 days for Christmas. We would drive the day before Christmas or the day before Easter up to St. Louis County area from Little Rock, Arkansas. And it took like 8-10 hours, maybe 8 hours. I don't remember. All I remember, there was a section of road that my dad took as we got into Missouri. Or was it Arkansas? I can't remember. But along the road, the particular road that my father took, and my father knew how to get from point A to point B without going on major highways. You can take a lot of back roads. But this one particular back road that we would take, we called it the washboard. And the reason why it's called the washboard, it was a series of ups and downs. And when we were going, this is before we went to Germany, my dad had a Hornet. I don't remember the maker of the vehicle, but it's called the Hornet, and it was a sedan hatchback. It was one of those long cars with a hatchback and big cargo space in the back end. And I remember I would sit back there, and if I wasn't taking naps, I was sitting there, but I was facing the opposite direction of what we were heading, so I can see the vehicles behind me and wave at them or whatnot. But I remember when we hit the washboard, it was like I turned it into a roller coaster ride. The closest thing I can get to a roller coaster ride as a kid, because it was like, up, here we go, up, here, and it's like, what? And I tell you this much, if it wasn't for the fact that as a kid I had a pretty good strong stomach and whatnot, but I think my mom did not appreciate that road because she kept on saying that after we got off that road, she felt nauseous. And I'm like, well, yeah, when you've got 4 to 5 hills and valleys in a row that are just like a washboard, I can see how that can make somebody nauseous. And yeah, she goes on to say, I moved around a lot in my childhood between countries, states, cities, and neighborhoods. For some reason, my warmest, happiest moments were each December when we would return to my grandparents' house. No matter what my American friends' families were doing, my Danish family continued on with the same very Danish Christmas ritual they had performed for generations. On the afternoon of Christmas Eve, my grandfather, father, and few cousins would set out to find a Christmas tree on the land around my grandparents' house. While the grown-ups would choose to fell the tree, my cousins and I would gather wild holly, mistletoe, and pine cones to decorate the house. Then we would decorate the tree with traditional homemade Danish ornaments such as paper hearts. This was one of the few times of year that I knew the rules, The feeling of comfort and self-assertion this gave me was unlike anything I knew in my everyday life. So she's talking about, getting together as a child for Christmas at her grandparents. I guess her grandparents lived out in the country, and those who could would go out, traipse out in the snow the day before Christmas, cut down a tree to use as Christmas tree while gathering mistletoe and holly and pine cones to decorate the house. Now, knowing what I do know, I know that holly and mistletoe can be poisonous if ingested, especially by animals. I mean, it's like lethal to animals. It would make you or me sick as a dog, but it would kill your household pet. So if you go to do anything like that, you're gathering wild holly or mistletoe, make sure it's up high or pinned to your wall or whatnot, so the animals don't get to it. And especially the little ones who don't know and they think, ooh, red berries. I eat red berries all the time. I can eat these. No. Make sure they don't, please. I mean, I love the idea of decorating with natural elements from outdoors, but if you've got little ones or pets, make sure that if you know it's poisonous, don't let them eat it. But anyhow, she also goes to say, this sense of safety and warmth is the same for every person who has ever indulged in a family tradition. It is a it is a mainstay of Hygge and of coziness. Each person on this planet deserves such joy. I do remember a lot of my childhood traditions. I wish I could get a lot of them back, basically. We have done 2 different traditions that I remember from my youth, as well as from cultural stance. One of the ones that is from cultural stance. I don't remember if we ever did it when I was younger, but because of my Germanic my German ancestry and whatnot, that in fact is done not in just Germany, but a lot of different Europeans do it. It's called the pickle prize. Now in Germany, what it was a real pickle that they tied a string around and they hid it in the Christmas tree. And they would let the kids gather around the Christmas tree Christmas Eve night. But we do it on Christmas Day. And it's a special prize that we have off to the side. As adults, it's usually a gift card or something like that. But it's called the pickle prize. And the first person who can find the pickle gets the prize. Now, it was traditionally done for children because the fact that it was it was like a little bit of a game. And we do it nowadays. And like I said, it's not a real pickle. It's a ornamental looking ceramic type pickle that we used to put in the tree. We don't do it that much anymore because it's like we know what the price is going to be. It's not like somebody bought it, said, and gift wrapped it and said pickle prize, and we just put the pickle in the tree. But that was one of the things that we used to do. And I used to, as an only child, it was like the fun of it wasn't the factor of the prize. The fun of it was, where did mom or dad hide the pickle in the tree? And my dad was good at hiding that pickle. There was one year I remember that I could not even find the pickle. And my dad was like, really? You can't see the pickle? I'm like, no, Dad, I don't see the pickle. And he literally, eye level for me at the time, and I was probably like 4 foot tall, if not a little bit shorter. And it was at eye level for me at that age. And he just wasn't really deep in the tree. He just reached next to another ornament that looked the same color. So I thought it was one big ornament, and he just goes, it's right here. I'm like, really? I thought that was one ornament, But that was one of the fun traditions. The other fun tradition that my parents had, and Jerry Ann and I still do to this day, is we'll go out and buy each other a present that neither one of us knows about. It's like I go out and buy her something, she goes out and buys me something, and we don't know what we got each other. And we'll wrap it and set it off to the side. And on Christmas Eve, we give each other that present to open that night. And she usually tries to get me like pajamas or something nice to wear around the house the next day. And sometimes I try to get her pajamas, sometimes I try to get her something that I know she'll like. Mom has jumped in and joined in with that. In fact, last year I think Mom gave Jerry Ann a gift card for Starbucks money. And she got it kind of like for both of us, because I once in a while get Starbucks. But anyhow, it was a fun tradition. I'm going to go ahead and end this because it's almost 40 minutes long. But tomorrow, we're going to start reading into... Hold on, let me get mine. Tomorrow is Traditions That Work For You. Celebrations Made Calm. And this is basically where she starts talking about how to make cozy, calm, easy holiday celebrations so you're not going bonkers trying to get to Christmas. The thing about most American holidays, because America is the only country that celebrates Thanksgiving in fact, I think we're the only country that celebrates Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a traditional American holiday. But here in the States, the problem with the holidays is the fact that we have 3, boom, 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 on top of each other. We have Halloween, planning for Halloween, getting the kiddies their desired Halloween costumes, buying candy to distribute to the little ones who come to your door, or if you do trunk or treat, that kind of stuff. So you're planning for that. You're trying to get all that arranged. And then there's little Timmy, his best friend down the road, is having a Halloween party at his house. You got to make arrangements to go there. And then little Jessie, she's got... her friends are having a Halloween party, so it's planning to go with her to that Halloween party. Or if your little ones aren't old enough to be teenagers, and teenagers either want to go out and do their own thing, or they have various friends or family members, or friends in their families who are throwing a Halloween party at their house, and they want to go to their individual friends' houses, and you're stuck at home basically handing out candy to the little ghosts and goblins and witches and Power Rangers or Avengers or whatever costume they're wearing nowadays. So you gotta plan. You gotta make those plans and da. And then the week after, or the next day after Halloween, you're de-decorating your house and prepping your house for, if you're like my wife, prepping your house for the Thanksgiving autumn type decor. And then you're planning, okay, who all is going to come for Thanksgiving? What size turkey do we want? Or are we going someplace else for Thanksgiving? Are we cooking ourselves? You know, you got to make all those plans for Thanksgiving and get all the, okay, I've got, 20 people coming to my house for Thanksgiving dinner. So I need a turkey that's going to be big enough, or turkeys. I'm going to need enough turkey and whatnot to feed all these 20 people, plus all the mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce and stuffing and French onion, green beans, and all the the green bean casserole and all the other dishes that come with Thanksgiving. And then once Thanksgiving is over with, the weekend after Thanksgiving, if Thanksgiving doesn't fall on a weekend, you've got to de-decorate your house for Thanksgiving, or in my house, de-decorate for Thanksgiving fall, and then decorate for winter Christmas. And then plan out for Christmas dinner. Are we going someplace for dinner? Are we having dinner at our house? How many people are going to be here for Thanksgiving? We got to make sure we have enough of the foods and stuffing and all that stuff for not Thanksgiving, Christmas. Got to make sure we have the ham for Christmas and a big enough ham to serve. How many people are going to be there? Blah blah blah. So the holiday from Thanksgiving to New Year's is basically a free fall, chaotic, trying to keep control, trying to stay as calm and cozy as possible, and get everything done without ripping out your hair. I didn't realize that until I became an adult, and I went, oh my God. This is why my dad never decorated for anything other than Christmas. Thanksgiving was, granted, dinners were at Aunt Lee's house, but putting up the tree, putting up the decorations, having gifts under the tree for me, mom, and dad, and then going to Aunt Lee's house to get gifts there. And granted, I was thankful that my aunt had the most brilliant way of of knowing what to get each individual person. She would take a sheet of paper, and she'd write everybody's names on that sheet of paper. That basically come to the house not only just for the dinner and whatnot, but for gifts, like the immediate family, me, mom, dad, herself, Susan, my cousin Aaron, my cousin Debbie. When Busha was alive, which is basically my cousin Debbie and Susan's grandmother, Polish. Traditional Polish, title for Grandma Busha. So basically, all the immediate family members that were going to be, part of the gift giving process would have their name on their sheet of paper, and you'd go to the name, you go to that sheet of paper, find your name, and write down the different things you wanted. And granted, a lot of times I would get maybe one or two items off my list, but the rest of the items were like, you're still a grown boy, you need socks and underwear and shirts and pajamas and pants and all the traditional gifts that you would give a growing teenage person. So, yeah. Anyhow, I'll be reading more about that. I'm sorry, it jumped to almost 45 minutes. It's because of the fact that I'm awake now and I can't shut up. But anyhow, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the question comment box. If you're new to my channel and like hearing some of the things I talk about, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to. And if you do hit the subscribe button, a little bell will pop up. You can click on that bell, and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. Until next time, have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.